Hi, it's me again, Marlon. So today we'll be discussing Lesson 9 and Lesson 10, which is the back rank mate, and also the typical checkmate being encountered in chess. Let's do it. So the back rank mate is where the king is under attack by the rook and couldn't go out because he's being blockaded by his own pieces or by pawns. Here, king can't go on f8 because still a check. Can't go on h8 because still check. No escape, blockaded, and back rank mate. Now, for example, in this position, the king is under attack by the queen, okay, being blockaded by its own pawns, no exit, but the rook can capture the queen. So rook captures the queen, and then the rook can still capture the rook, and still gonna be a check. King no escape, and it's a back rank mate. Back rank mate usually happens in a lot of beginners game because they forgot that the king should have at least a fire exit, as I call it. And here, for example, just queen on d8, check, king blockaded, can go on h8 or f8. No escape. No one to block the check. But rook can capture, but again, rook can recapture. And checkmate. Background mate. Another one. So for example here, after rook goes on c8, check. Now black can block the check using the bishop or the rook. The problem is, after bishop goes on d8, rook could just simply capture with a check. And after rook on e8, again, that's a free rook. Free rooks are free. Rook captures, and the king, blockaded by its own pawns, and couldn't go anywhere. Back. Another example. What about here? There are several types of back rank mates. So sometimes it's not necessary that there's 3 pawns in front of the king. Here, there is no pawn in f7, but his rank 8 or the last rank is weak. Which means after queen f8 check, rook captures queen. Rook captures. Be careful, because if you capture by the bishop, it's not a check. And he could just play like h6. So here, rook should recapture. Now we have a double attack. King can go here, here, and even an h8, and forced to capture using the queen. After queen captures, again, do not capture with the bishop because it's not a check. Recapture using the rook. And again, king can't go here. Couldn't capture the rook because it's being protected by the bishop and can't go on h8. Checkmate. Now, what about you don't have any good check on the last rank or the 8th rank of black? So for example, if you go here, he will just capture. If you go on c8, he will just capture. If you capture the rook, he will just capture you. So you just have to do a little trick. like rook captures e7, with the idea that if rook captures the queen, rook on d could go on d8, check. And the king, as you see, is being blockaded by these 3 pawns. Obviously, that he couldn't go anywhere now. Forced to block using the rook on e8, and after rook captures e8, then it's a checkmate. Interesting. Now, what about the first rank of white? It's weak, right? There are 2 possible checks that black can do here. One is d1 and e1. But only one is correct. Can you guess what is it? If your answer is rook on e1, then you got it correctly. Rook on e1, king couldn't go out, can stay in the first rank, nobody to block from the f1 square, and this is a checkmate. If you use the rook on d1 instead, queen can capture, and this is going to be a waste of move. Okay, here is white to play and do the backhand mate. So, if you're thinking of queen a8 or queen c8, then it will not be, this will not be a backhand, because he can block with either bishop or queen. For example, here, queen. And now if queen captures, I'm sorry, but the bishop is protecting the queen, so it's not going to be a backhand. Even if you go on a8, same scenario. Queen goes on d8, queen captures, bishop captures, and still not going to be a check. So the checkmate here is not here, but here on e8. No one to block on f8, can't go anywhere, can't go on h8 or f8, back mate. I hope the backhand mate is clear. It's very easy. And for now, let's just have what our last lesson is, which is the checkmates using queen and rook, rook and rook, and I will add something special now. Checkmating using 2 bishops. Okay, here, as you remember, the 4th rank, there is a rook. The king is on 5th. And you want the king to be checkmated here in the last rank. How are you going to do it? Rook a5 check. After king goes here, rook on a5 guarding the 5th rank, which means the king couldn't step. This rook on b4 is not doing anything. So after rook on b6, check. Rook on a5 guarding, no. Can't stay in number 6 because there's a rook. And the king can just go any in the 7th rank squares. f7, g7, and h7. Let's go with, for example, on g7. Then, rook goes on a7. Not b7, because if you play b7, then the king can just go back on the 6th rank. We don't want to waste move here. So rook on a7 check. Can go down in number 6, can stay in number 7, forced to go in number 8. Then checkmate. Another one. I hope you remember this. Here, the king is attacking the rook. And if you play like rook h5, black will just capture the rook on g4. So first thing you want to do is put them far. Rook goes on a4 with the idea that the king couldn't step in a fourth rank. Well, he can stay number 5 for now. And okay, let's go for example, king g5. Now, king g5 not allowing you to play rook h5 because if you do, king will capture. So if you cannot do it on this side, then transfer far, but not on a3 because on a3 then it's going to be a problem as the rooks are not coordinated to each other to do the ladder checkmate style, or the staircases call it. So here, rook goes on b3. For example, the king goes on f5. Now you do check. If king goes on e6, rook a6, king goes down on 7, rook b7 check, and after king c8, the rook is under attack. You don't want to protect the rook by playing rook a7. You also don't want to play rook b6 because it's going to be a lot of move. So here, a very simple move is just transfer it for rook h7. And after, for example, king on b8, you want to checkmate here on the last round. But it's not safe. King will capture. So just transfer it far. Rook g6. After king on c8, and then rook on g8. Checkmate. Can't go, can't stay. Another one. Oh, alright, this is the easiest. So, if a queen and a rook, I bet you know this already. So you can checkmate using the files by playing here rook on d1, check. Can't go in letter E, can't stay in letter D, and forced to go maybe, okay, let's go here. Then, if you want to do the ladder type, all you have to do is just transfer this far. There's several ways that for me, I'm going to play here queen d3. But just to make it easy, let's do it far. Rook d8. Now, the king can't go here, here, or here. Can stay in letter C and forced to go in letter B. B file. Now, we don't want this king to go back in C file. Just put something like this. Rook C8. Not allowing the king to go in letter C. And now the king could just go up in letter on B4 or give up the B file and go to, sorry, not there, on letter A. For example, okay, here, king B4. Then we can play queen B2 to check. So queen attacking the king, rook restricting the king, can't go letter C, can stay in letter B and forced to go letter A. Queen guarding letter D. So who should checkmate the king? The rook. Rook goes on A. Next. Okay. Here, all you have to do is just do a check. Rook guarding letter E, queen attacking letter D, just forced to go in C. Rook C2 check. If he goes maybe here, or then just queen B3. To make it hard, the queen goes on B4. Then you want to do check on this side. So just transfer if you want. If he goes down, just transfer. He goes king B4 again, check, and checkmate. Got it? Okay. Here is what we call checkmating using to bishop. And it's different from queen and the rook or rook and rook because ladder style will definitely not work in this position. And you have to remember that a king, again, will be checkmated anywhere in the corner of the board. Normally, they're being checkmated on A8, H8, H1, or A1. So we have to force the king to go anywhere on the side of the board. So just to show you, here, king F4, king goes on B6. You don't want to move the bishop for now as they're good. King goes on F5. King goes D7. Now, have to force him to go down. Bishop C5. With the idea that this king couldn't go step, can't go on C6. And after king C7, king E6. Now, can't go here, can't go there. Wait, can't go also in B7. So, king D8. Now, bishop on B6. Check. If king goes on C8, king D6. See now, king is little by little going to the corner. After king on B8, king on C6, with king C8, now you do a check on F5, king B8, then bishop D4, and this is what we call like a waiting move, and also rearranging the position. That the king should go on B6 and checkmate here on E4, like this. So king is forced now to go on E8. Then you do your king B6. After king on B8, checkmate E2. Bishop on E5, check. Can't go here. Forced to go on E8. Then, as planned, bishop goes on E4. Checkmating two bishops, you have to do a lot of practice on this. It's not easy, but it's not that hard. So, I hope you guys learned something from me today. If you have any questions, you have my WhatsApp number under. Send me a WhatsApp. I'll be happy to assist you. For now, bye guys. See you next lesson.